I just want peace, like in our friends group. I don't want us to fight anymore. Just in a new space now that I don't want to have any enemies. I just want to be on good terms with everyone.
I won't accept the apology unless they are ready to beg for it.
Whoa.
Ibrahim, as Samadi, he is the son of a king and a son of a queen. Therefore, it makes me a prince, and you are nothing but the evil, wicked stepsister of Cinderella.
All right, let's just get right into it. Now, you see the way Ibrahim handled that whole situation. Ladies and gentlemen, it just goes back to all I've been saying about this young man. Ibrahim is still a child. Ibrahim has a lot of growing up to do. This young man is not yet a full-fledged man. And it makes me wonder how he's going to manage his marriage, how he's going to manage his wife, his home, how he's going to deal with situations with his wife. Because, guys, it still beats me how this guy obviously went overboard with his retaliation, towards Zeina and Safa, of course. But the fact that he was still holding on to his stance, like this guy was still standing on the fact that, oh, Zeina started it, oh, he did not do anything wrong, and still using Danya as a basis for why he did what he did. Guys, it just did not really make sense to me. And the fact that they actually called Zeina a bitch. Guys, what is there to apologize? And this is not even a question of, throwing your dignity on the floor. Like, this was all about Ibrahim's ego. It was all about his stubborn ego. And guys, it was just really pathetic. Really pathetic. And I absolutely loved the fact that Hanan completely ignored Bliss. Because you and I know that Bliss did what he did, set up that reconciliation, so-called reconciliation meeting with an ulterior motive. His motive was to isolate Safar from the entire group. He wanted them, their clique, to be on good terms with Zeina, thereby, singling out Safar as the villain of the group. That was his motive. And so coming from the angle of, I'm the peacemaker, I'm always a peacemaker, I'm like, dude, just sit this one out. And I just felt like this dude was just so insensitive, like completely tone deaf to the situation at hand at the time, because everything was completely heated. Ibrahim was spoiling for a fight. Hanan was still trying to explain that, dude, this is what you did to my wife. That's still making her upset. You apologized. She accepted. We extended a hand of peace. We hugged you. We shook your hand. But you still went on and on saying all manner of things. Still went on and on trolling this woman on social media. Guys, Hanan was trying to explain all of these things.
Okay, what's the point now?
The point is, you decided not to live up to your word. Okay. You're a child. You'll never change.
Okay.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool us twice.
Okay,
we'll be damn idiots, my friend.
Then
what?
What do you want?
Then guys, don't try to get us.
Ibrahim still had a lot of mouth to boast, to brag, to say all manner of things. So, guys, I just completely loved the way Hanan just completely shut up Bliss. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Don't get involved in this. Guys, I just felt like, yes, that was the right thing to do at that point in time. Because Bliss was being completely hypocritical. This guy is not blind. He could clearly see that Ibrahim had no case. Ibrahim was being arrogant in that whole conversation. So instead of him to call Ibrahim to order and say, dude, calm down. Let's resolve these things once and for all. If at all he wanted to be a true peacemaker, he was still going on to go and tell Zeina, oh, you guys should come back. We still have to resolve this. I'm like, is this guy so completely tone deaf to what's happening around him? And for the first time, I felt like Danya did the right thing. Guys, the fact that Danya held herself back from going outside to do the usual, defend Ibrahim. Guys, I was just so happy. I was just happy that she held herself back from doing that, because that was what even escalated the whole thing in the first place. Joining Ibrahim to go cause drama, you know, even spoke the most in that situation, insulted Zeina the most, and even spilled coffee on Zeina's table. Guys, Danya was actually the person that was at the forefront of that whole drama. So I loved the fact that she held herself back and allowed Ibrahim to fight his fight. Because even personally, I was sick and tired of this whole, oh, my bestie is fighting someone, I'm going to inherit my bestie's fight and inherit my bestie's enemies. And personally, I kind of saw it as her taking a step towards emotional intelligence. Yes. Anyways, guys, there's still a lot more about this particular episode, but before we continue, let me officially welcome all of you back to my YouTube channel. You are welcome. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah, and I am the girl with the T. For those of you that are new here, thank you so much for choosing to click on this video to watch. You are especially welcome. But if you are yet to become a part of this community officially, please do not hesitate to do exactly what you see on your screen. Please subscribe. Make sure you turn on your post notification bell to always receive a lot of my videos whenever I upload a new one. Now, for those of you that are returning viewers and returning subscribers, thank you so much for choosing to come back to watch my videos. And quick reminder, guys, tomorrow is Saturday. You know what happens on here. By 3 p.m. WAT, we're going to be converging here for our YouTube live conversation. So please make it a date with us. There's a lot to talk about, especially because we will be reviewing the last 2 episodes of this season of Dubai Blings. There's a lot to talk about, so please make it a date with us. Do not miss out. Make sure you come through. Now, all of that said, let's continue with the episode 6 of Dubai Blings. In all of that drama, it was quite interesting to see how all of a sudden Lojay's perception about Ibrahim changed. Guys, I listened to a confessional and I had a good laugh.
There are some people who I used to think were worthy of respect, appreciation, effort, and time. But it took only one incident for them to reveal their true colors to me.
Yeah, I had a good laugh because you and I know that all this while, she's been on Ibrahim's side. Everything she's been doing, some of the things that she's been saying, her deliberate unattendance or non-attendance of some of these people's events has just been completely spiteful. Yes, it's like she's been trying to make a statement, all to spite Zeina. Guys, we're fully aware. But then, all of a sudden, she's coming up with this speech about, sometimes they try to give people grace, blah, blah, blah. And then it just takes one thing that they do, you know, and then their true intentions, you know, their true personality is revealed, blah, blah. I'm like, no, woman, you actually have been aware that this is who Ibrahim is, but you decided to turn a blind eye to it because it involves Zeina and Safar. I mean, guys, Lojay just completely inherited Zeina and Safar as her own enemies from Ibrahim. And then coming up with that holier than thou speech during a confessional, guys, it was just really funny to me. And personally, I'm looking forward to seeing how our relationship with Ibrahim will be moving forward. Even LJ too was talking about, oh, Ibrahim is not the sort of person to deal with, he's very difficult. I'm like, you guys should just be shut up. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's not like these women are ignorant of how mean Ibrahim could get. They know. And all this while, they've been riding on the wings of his malice with Zeina and even Safar to some extent. To the point that Lojay made declarations on the previous episode that, oh, Safar is not a friend and will never be a friend. And then all of a sudden now, they are seeing that, oh, Ibrahim is not a good person. Guys, you see, even whilst they were having that conversation, Lojay was calling out to Zeina, you know, trying to give the impression of, oh girl, I'm here, I'm on your side, oh, I've got you. I'm like, oh my God, it's the hypocrisy for me. The hypocrisy stinks. And you see, it did not end there. Towards the end of this episode at Danya's event, guys, I cringed watching Lojay, you know, applauding Danya for not interfering in Ibrahim's scuffle, you know, the whole drama with Zeina and Zeina's husband, Hanan. And she even went as far as advising Danya to go ahead and make peace with Zeina. Guys, see ya. That's towards the end of the episode. We're gonna get there. But back to Ibrahim now. Safa was so disappointed because when she had that lunch meeting with Ibrahim had come off with the air of remorse, repentance, change, or he wanted peace. So she was quite shocked at how everything had turned out in that conversation. And so she made one last attempt to have a conversation with Ibrahim. But Ibrahim was still riding on the wings of his ego. This dude was not really interested in having any further conversations. As a matter of fact, for him, he doesn't even mind if he loses Safar. For him, he's right, and nobody was going to tell him otherwise. And Safar gave up, so she left him. Now, this next scene was the beginning of the comic relief of this particular episode. And yes, you guessed right. It was all about Safar and her husband, Fahad.
A helicopter wife is somebody who's there, not far away, just hovering around, making sure your husband doesn't have a chance to look anywhere else because you are constantly on his head.
Now, we're all aware that on the previous episode, Safar had immediately booked a flight for herself and her bestie, Zeina, to fly down to India to search for Fahad, simply because the guy was sort of, erratic on her monitoring app. And it turns out that Fahad is actually aware that she actually installed a tracking app on his phones. Yes, so he's fully aware. And the excuse that she had given was it was solely for security purposes. So if there's an emergency, she wants to be able to track him easily. Yes, which kind of makes a lot of sense. But now it's turning out into something else. Anyways, they had arrived Mumbai, and right from the taxi, she was already looking for him, and he was still sort of unstable on the tracking device. So they had gone straight to the hotel, they had settled down, and then the second day, they had gone on a hunt, like literally to search for Fahad, and she was following his location on her phone. Now, she had dressed like a leopard or whatever that was. Now, Safa is a clown. Guys, she is a clown, a sweet clown. Guys, I saw her outfit and I was confused, but I was rolling with laughter. I'm like, what the hell is this? Guys, this woman dressed like, I don't know if I should call her a leopard or a cheetah or whatever. I don't know what that animal is, but she should dress like an animal.
Show me. No way. I can't believe you.
According to her, oh, she wants to blend. I'm like, Safa, look around you. It's colorful. And just as Fahad rightly said, you are not in the desert or maybe we're in the wilds. Look around you. Everywhere is green. What do you think you're doing? So guys, for her, that was her own form of disguise, blending in with the people. And I'm like, oh my God, this girl is so ignorant sometimes. But anyways, they had gone ahead, to track him down. They even left their car and had used a local 3-cycle, yes, to chase after him, to locate him.
We arranged a tuk-tuk to get inside. It's just a casual tuk-tuk and wherever he is. Can say hi. Hi. Tika? Jindy, quick.
What's Jindy?
Now, whilst they were chasing after this man was at a resort. He and his friends, they were looking at properties, just to get ideas for him to use to, renovate his family's farmhouse. According to him, the father had built a farmhouse for he and his family, and ever since the father died, it's just been abandoned. Nobody is taking care of it. So he wants to renovate it so that it will be a home for his family. He has plans of bringing his kids down to India from time to time so that they can also experience their culture and also understand how it is to grow up in such a family home, closer to your roots. So this man has big plans, right? He has big plans. He's doing what he's doing. And before we knew it, Safar had appeared. And guys, it was so funny that Fahad's friend could easily tell that it was Safar just by a handbag. Guys, oh my God.
I couldn't take it anymore. I want to know, what is this nonsense? What are you doing?
She walks in. That's there.
Someone's walking in. There's an animal behind you. There's an animal that I recognize Dubai.
What are you doing here?
It was so funny. That scene was hilarious. Fahad did not even know how to take it. He did not know if he should be upset or if he should just be amused. The guy was laughing, but at the same time, it was crazy because for him, why didn't she inform him that she was coming to India? Guys, Safa was being really dramatic. She literally dragged Zeina. They should go and look for the woman. They looked and looked and looked. They did not see anybody. And then they came back and she was like, oh, so what are you doing? Are you trying to buy a house? Do you want to bring me and the kids down to India? Do you want to relocate us to India? She was just being very, very dramatic. But then I loved the fact that Fahad, as usual, totally understood his wife. And so he did not really overreact. Although he was a bit upset, but he just allowed everything to simmer down, assured her of his plans, and told her that he loves her, and made jokes about her outfit. But then later on, when they had had dinner, he had brought her a gift, a Birkin bag. And that was where we had learned from Safa that Fahad is an absolute gentleman who would not lose his temper in front of people, but he would definitely speak his mind when they are in private. And that was where we also learned that Fahad had lost his voice from being upset with her.
I've got a surprise.
For me, he lost his voice.
Is this a sorry gift? You don't appreciate my romantic gesture?
You like orange boxes?
Because I love orange boxes.
Something that she's in love with more than me is, I think, orange boxes.
I was wondering, like, how did he lose his voice? Was he shouting? Was he yelling at the top of his lungs? How? And she was like, it was actually serious. Anyways, they settled and he gifted her a blue Birkin bag, also hinting that that was a sign for them to try for a baby boy. And it was so funny because this guy now is thinking of a third baby, right? After Safa had agreed to have a second baby. But Safa, on the other hand, was looking forward to having her mommy makeover, right? And guys, for me, I thought all this business of mommy makeovers only happens only after a woman is done with, childbearing. Guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, I'm completely confused. Our excuse is that she had done a C-section and there are still some loose skins around that she needs to deal with. And Fahad is still reluctant to accept, but it was quite funny how Safa put it, that the thing with Fahad is he will say multiple no's, but at the end, he will say yes and agree to her demand. And I'm like, wow, so says a woman that knows her husband 100%. But anyways, guys, the whole business with Safa and Fahad, including Zeina as well, was just really hilarious. I mean, I feel like that was like the richest entertainment of this particular episode. It brought a lot of fun, love, and light to this particular episode of the show. Now, there are some scenes that I actually skipped just to give you guys a full round commentary about these people's drama. So let's just go back. So Mona and Lojay had a skating date, and that was where we learned that Lojay was planning her own fashion show. So Mona and Lojay had a skating date, and that was where we learned that Lojay was planning a fashion show. Now, according to her, she's always had that dream since she was a young girl, and she was super excited to be doing it now. And frankly speaking, guys, I don't know if you all have noticed this thing about these cast members, right? It's like they all have the same dreams. This one is doing this one, this other one wants to do the same thing. Everybody has the same dreams. And hey, this is not me saying that their dreams are not valid, but I just feel like these people come up with different reasons to want to plan an event that would somehow bring all of them together for drama to happen. I'm like, okay, it only happens in reality TV shows, because guys, I find it really hard to believe that things like these actually happen in real life? If you think it happens, please let me know in the comment section below, because I feel like this, everybody having a dream of having a fashion show, of having this and that. Guys, I feel like it's becoming too much with this Dubai Blings. But anyways, in that same conversation, Lojay wanted to know if Mona had been aware of what had happened at her event, but thankfully she wasn't aware. According to her, she was just fully occupied with everything that was happening at her event. And guys, in a way, I was kind of expecting Lojay to fill her in, but she didn't really spill. While Safa and her husband had their own thing going on, you know, there was also Danya and her husband, Bliss. Now, they had a radio interview with an old friend of Bliss who decided to give them the platform to announce Bliss's upcoming concert. And they did that. And it was quite exciting. Bliss was super excited. According to him, this is one thing that he had been planning for his entire life, you know, a local DJ headlining an event as big as his concert. But then the radio host had posed the question, oh, the way you're supporting your husband, I hope he's also supportive to you. And I'm going to be frank with all of you, I did not really like the way she had answered that question.
You are supporting your man so strong. He's supporting you?
We had like a bit of like arguments on like certain things that I wanted to do. He wasn't very supportive, but I think through time, like convincing and all that, he's become more supportive.
They were there to publicize his event, so the least she could do is support him. Yes, I know it might be difficult for her to pretend that all was well between them, but I just felt like that was not really right, the way she had answered the question. So she had hesitated for a bit, like, well, and then she had gone on to say that, oh, he's not really supportive, but then they've had conversations and all whatnot, and now he's, you know, trying to be supportive. And I'm like, girl, there's a time and place for everything. You do not bring your marital issues to live radio, except people want to announce a divorce or something. What was the need for such a response to that question? Guys, I just felt like that was off, and I felt like that was sort of inconsiderate of her. Here's the reason I said on my previous review that these two people, they are very good for each other. Yes. And then it turns out that, oh, they both have surprises for each other. Now, Bliss has a surprise, which is the fact that he has actually told, or rather asked LJ to do a song at his event. Now, he did not inform his wife, but LJ is busy planning and, you know, rehearsing her choreography. They've even gone to the studio and they've recorded the set song. Danya, on the other hand, is planning to launch a new business that she's in partnership with someone else with. And the launch happened, and guys, guess what? This event happened 2 days before Bliss's concert. And up until the day of the launch, Bliss was still in the dark about what it was. So on the day of the event, most of the cast members, they gathered. Chris and Brianna, they were not there, of course. And Danya had given this beautiful speech about, oh, it's something that she had been planning for over a year. And that was sort of heightening Bliss's tension, because he was wondering, like, what is this thing that my wife has been preparing for over a year that I'm not even aware of? And then, lo and behold, it was a shoe brand.
In 3, 2, 1. I love it.
Yeah, the double heel concept, which was actually a beautiful concept, an amazing concept. You know, women love new things. Women love, you know, out of the world designs, you know, but the fact that she actually kept all of that from her husband for over a year.
It just wasn't the right time. This wasn't a good surprise. Could have waited a couple of more days. But when I'm done with my event, you and me, we need to sit down and talk.
Guys, even me, I was kind of offended. And the fact that she chose to do the launch 2 days before his concert, knowing fully well how it was going to negatively impact his mood. See, guys, my conclusion for those people is that, these two people, they're kind of selfish to each other. Bliss, in his own way, is selfish, you know, by not paying attention to Danya's needs, to her desperation, to her aspirations. And then Danya also acted very, very selfish, you know, for not taking into cognizance the fact that her actions was going to negatively affect his performance for his concert. So once again, I conclude that these two people, they are perfect for each other. On to Farhanna and her quest to find a rich man. Yes. So this time around, she goes on a third blind date with a professional boxer. Yes. And guys, see, the first thing I said when I saw this guy and the attitude he was giving Farhanna was, finally, Farhanna has met her match. Because guys, oh my God, it was the guy's attitude for me.
Your name is?
You know my name?
I don't know your name. I forget things anyway.
Yeah, but how can you not know my name?
I didn't ask.
Maybe he pretended like he doesn't know my name. Take your phone.
Why would I take my phone?
I want you to Google me.
You know what? Forget your name. Now we passed that conversation.
Mo was giving Farhanna the same sort of attitude that Farhanna had been giving to the other blind dates that she had. Oh my God. Guys, frankly speaking, I was so impressed with this guy. The guy has this nonchalant attitude, like he actually cares, but hey, me too, I'm a big deal. So you cannot come here because you are whoever you are. You want to come and give me attitude and all whatnot, you know. She was trying to pull that stunt of, oh, go and Google me, because the guy asked her, what's your name? And she's like, you don't know my name? And the guy was like, well, I don't know. I forget things quickly. Yeah, so I don't know. Oh my God, guys, see. I was thrilled. I said, yes, give it to her. Give it to her. Give it to her. And you see here, it was very obvious that the guy's attitude was, you know, was tickling her fancy. This time around, Farhanna was more forthcoming with information about herself. So the guy had asked her to tell him more about herself, and she had opened up about being a single mom. She has a son that's 7 years old, blah, blah, blah. And that was where we had learned that this guy had actually dated a single mom for 4 years. And if there's anything he knows about single moms is that their kids always come first, and their kids will always be their priority, you know. And guys, personally, I kind of felt like that was going to be, you know, that was going to be a problem for them on the long run, because it was very obvious that Farhanna was really into this guy. She liked what she saw. He was good looking. She already liked him. And she told him that, okay, they should get to know each other better, because of course she felt like they had a good conversation. And on their second date, Farhanna already allowed this guy to meet her family. That's her mom and her son.
To be honest, to see someone's family for the second time you see them, but out of respect, I said okay.
So guys, let's have a nice photo together. Come later before we go to the place.
And I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Farhanna, isn't that too fast? Like, what's the rush? And even the guy felt awkward about it, because he was like, this is the first time that, you know, he's meeting someone's family on a second date. But out of respect, they just had to go with the flow. Now, she did it in the guise of, oh, she was doing like a photo shoot with her mom and the son, but then she included the guy in the photo shoot. I'm like, Farhanna, you're too forward at this point. At this point, it's giving, I'm desperate to get married instantly. Yes. But anyways, the guy invited her to, you know, come watch him practice and train at the gym, and she accepted. But before we even get to that point, there was something silly that she did. So the guy had called her that he was downstairs, and she had hurried downstairs to go pick him, like take him to the studio where they were doing the photo shoot. And it was only guys to actually rate his car. According to her, if the guy does not have a good ride, she's going to totally cancel him. And so it turned out that the guy was riding a white G-Wagon, which turns out to be one of her favorite cars, that she likes it. Oh, yes, she scored him a very, very high point. I'm like, oh my God, Farhanna, we know that you're very, very materialistic, but did you have to make it so obvious? Did you have to make it so obvious? You that you like this G-Wagon, do you have a white G-Wagon, Farhanna? Do you? And then at Chris's surprise birthday party, she had announced to the group that she was seeing this guy, Mo. And it turns out that Chris knows this guy. And that was where Chris had said that there's going to be a problem. Because Mo is a very, very easygoing guy. He's very, very chilled, But Farhanna, on the other hand, is not chilled at all. And you see, in the conversation that we're having, you know, at that photo shoot scene, she had asked him what his relationship deal breaker is. And this guy had told her that, listen, he lives a drama-free life. He does not like drama. He likes an easy life. He avoids people that has drama. And guys, you could tell that Farhanna would not be able to keep to that, because even she knew that there's always drama around her, you know, so it's going to be a problem. And guys, personally, I just cannot wait for this guy to meet Farhanna and her friends together. Because ladies and gentlemen, we know that there's always drama. There's always something. There's always something. And the one thing I really want to see is if the guy will continue seeing Farhanna or not after she displays her dramatic side to him. On to the final scene. We've talked about Danya's surprise event and the conversation she was having with Lojay. We've also talked about Safa, Fahad, and Zeina's dinner in India. But then there was that final conversation. They talked about everything else, but between Danya and Lojay, Lojay was advising her, you know, to make peace with Zeina, you know, and it was very obvious that Danya was exhausted. She said it, that she was tired of all the drama, she was tired of fighting, she wanted peace, and she was very, very sad that on a big day like this, everybody was not there to celebrate her. There was no Chris, there was no Brianna, there was no Safa, there was no Fahad, there was no what's her name now, Zeina, you know, all these people are not there. So she was tired of all the drama. So Lojay was advising her to make peace with Zeina. And it was kind of fishy to me because Lojay did not advise her as well to make peace with Safar, but just with Zeina. So guys, everything was just shady to me. So Danya was saying that she was going to apologize to Zeina. But while she was saying all of those things to Lojay, back in India, Safar, Fahad, and Zeina were discussing everything that happened at the event. And Fahad was wondering why DJ Bliss, in the guise of being a peacemaker, had not encouraged his wife to make peace with Zeina. Instead, he had gone to talk to Ibrahim. That it just did not make sense because his wife also did a lot at Zeina's office.
Disgusting.
Why? Please give me more.
He's a peacemaker.
So he can go speak to Ibrahim to make peace with you, but he will not go speak to his own wife.
100%.
Now, Zeina, on the other hand, had already made this huge resolve that she was not interested in having a sit-down conversation with these people. She was not even interested in their apologies. In fact, she wasn't interested in being friends with them anymore. And if they wanted her to even listen to them, they would have to beg for her forgiveness.
I won't accept the apology unless they are ready to beg for it.
Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, see, at that point, I just knew that this issue will never be resolved because Danya, I don't think Danya is ever going to beg, especially if Ibrahim gets into her head to talk her out of it. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all for the episode 6 of Dubai Blings. Go ahead, let me know your thoughts about it all in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Elijah. Have an amazing day. Bye.